Sztanyo, Clanyo, what's going on? It's been a day. How's your day going? It is Thursday. What is it? December the 4th. And we're talking all things Cincinnati. We're talking real estate. Um, yeah, it's Christmas season. We got snow on the ground here in Cincinnati. We got lots to talk about here. First thing on the list is going to be talking about why Cincinnati home sellers are cutting their prices. We're going to hit that headline. We've got some new custom homes going in, some new different neighborhoods coming in, and potentially one of the largest home builders in the nation is looking to move their way up to Cincinnati. Talk about that. Talk about some of the sales that are out there right now for buyers and sellers. Actually went and showed a home today in Triple Crown in Union, Kentucky. That was a showstopper. And I'm going to show you guys that house. It was walking through it with my buyer. I think I heard him say, wow, audibly, maybe 6 times. So it was pretty good. So we're going to dive into all those things. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll even talk a little Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because man, the Bengals are a lot more fun to watch when Joe Burrow is the quarterback. And we've got a chance. We've only got to win 5 more games in a row, which we've done before. So we've got a chance, Bengals, to make the playoffs. It's a small one, but we've got a chance. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a busy day, so I'm trying to catch myself here. I've been negotiating contracts, and we had some contractors in the house today, so I've been managing that. And then, like I said, drove down to Union, Kentucky today, and showed 4 houses down there today. A couple in Triple Crown, a couple out by Big Bone area, and actually 3 in Triple Crown we showed. And then went ahead and helped my wife out and picked up the kids in school from Walton, Kentucky, and brought them home. So sorry I'm a few minutes late here, but let's dive into some of these headlines. And as always, if you're watching, thanks for joining in. I love that some of you guys are out there live right now. And let us know in the chat. Drop me a line where you're watching from. And if you've got any questions, any comments, any Bengals thoughts, any ideas on Cincinnati you want to talk about, leave them in the chat. Love having you here. But we're going to jump into this first article here, which is Cincinnati home sellers are cutting prices, what it means for the local market. So let's dig into this a little bit, some of these stats. We've been talking about this on the channel for a little bit, but saw this article pop up this week and be like, yeah, we're feeling that. We've been feeling that, but let's talk about it. It says the average Cincinnati home listing was discounted by $20,000 off its initial posted price in October, a recent Zillow report shows. So this is going back into October stats. We're through November now. We're into December. We've kind of been sounding this alarm, I would say, for several weeks to months now of like, hey, now's the time if you're a buyer, it's discount season. This is, and it's a little bit both of the seasonality of Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky in the market that we hit this time of year. It's generally just the slower season. And it's also a little bit of a slowdown of the market, I would say. We're creeping up a little bit more in inventory, a little bit more than we've seen compared to previous years. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get a massive deal on every house out there, but let's continue on in this article, because the average home was discounted by $20,000 in October. So that ranks as the number 15 largest discount among the 50 largest metros nationwide. And I find that really interesting too, because Cincinnati, typically, I like to say about our city, we're average in every way. We're actually above average here when it comes to discounts. But I think when it comes to national trends in the market, I think probably some other areas around the country have already felt this pullback previously in 2025, if not in 2024. And Cincinnati, as we kind of do, we're just kind of like lagging behind a little bit. But it's not like we're the top, the coldest market in the country, but the 15th largest discount. Now, that doesn't measure all the statistics in a specific market, but that's significant. That there's 20 grand on average was the discount in October. So the typical home listing in the U.S. saw 25,000 in price cuts in October, making it the largest discount Zillow has recorded. So nationwide, we're seeing the largest discount in October, at least Zillow has seen. The report said that price reductions are becoming more popular as homes are taking longer to sell. And most sellers have the ability to decrease prices and still profit off the sale. So that's really interesting. And I think That's an important part of this too. If you're shopping, part of that is, if you've owned the home for multiple years, you've got this equity buildup. Now, if it's someone who just recently bought the home in the last year, the last 2 years, maybe even the last 3, you've got a lot less of that equity buildup. So you might not see as big of reductions from those sellers. But if you are shopping on a home that someone's owned for 5 years plus, well, then it's like, okay, the market's slowing down. We want to get this thing sold. And we've seen, whereas in the past year plus, a lot of those sellers were hanging on because the discrepancy between the interest rates from selling to buying a new one was just too great. Well, those have come back in a little bit, or their equity that they've had in the home is so great that they're willing to cut back now and say, let's get this thing sold. Let's cash out. Okay, maybe we didn't hit the peak of the market, but a lot of sellers are like, yeah, but like we're still up 40, 50% over, the last 5 years or so. So let's keep going here. So the Zillow report says the discounts reflect a housing market finding balance as affordability has improved to a 3-year best. Affordability, in terms of where I think what we're talking about there is in terms of incomes to what percentage of your overall income is your housing payment. Julie Back, Executive Sales Vice President, top selling real estate agency of Sibs Klein, said she's seen the market moving quickly as long as homes are priced correctly. And that's still correct. That's an accurate statement. So, I've got several buyers right now who are shopping and are kind of like, if you want these discounts, they're looking at homes that are on the market longer. And maybe sellers are willing to give a little bit more of a discount, but there's also homes that are hitting the market that will still sell in that first weekend. That still can sell in those multiple offers if they're priced correctly, if the sellers aren't pushing it too high. So inventory remains low. And while we expect more listings to hit the market this spring, that's just typical seasonality here in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Demand is strong and homes should continue to sell swiftly. And that's true. All indicators point to a robust spring market. Buyers should be prepared. So especially, I think if you see interest rates continue to kind of tick down a little bit, then yeah, we're going to see that stronger demand. And that's why, I kind of keep saying this message all the time, but I'm like, if you want to shop, like late fall and winter right now is the best time for the deals. Now you'll see more inventory kind of creeps up each month. I actually was having this conversation with a buyer last night. We were looking at a home that just hit the market, really, really nice home, well-maintained home in Loveland. I can't remember if it's single owner or not, but it might've been a single owner home built in, I want to say like 1988, 1990, something like that. Really nicely maintained home. And it had checked so many boxes, but the yard kind of fell off in the back pretty quickly into the woods in the back. Great privacy, but with young kids, they wanted a little bit more flat yard, which I get. But that's one, that's kind of like, that was the question of the buyer was, are we going to see more? I'm like, yeah, you'll see more like this one, like this hit the market. They will trickle out. And it's not like no homes sell in December because, the people who are selling now are people more or less who need to sell now, right? Otherwise, if they could kind of afford to wait until spring, they probably would, like if timing wasn't as big of an issue. So sellers, if you're out there, you can still obviously sell right now. Homes still sell in December. In fact, the dip from the kind of the peak of when the market spikes from the amount of sales, which is going to be like May, June area, to the low point, which is really closing in December, January, is about 30% difference in sales. So it's not that we go to, it's Christmas time, nobody sells a house or buys a house. That's not true. But there's about a 30% difference there from the peak to the low point when you look at the overall homes that are sold in any given year. So overall home sales in Butler, Claremont, Hamilton, and Warren counties rose in October. So there you go. Like there's even more and more home sales in October. Inventory also increased, jumping 30.3% from the same time a year prior. And that's really what we're talking about as why we're seeing these discounts is year over year. It's not that it's still not a balanced market in terms of inventory, but year over year inventory is up 30%. And that's why sellers are like, oh, I can't just put anything out there at any price I want. higher than what sold in August or September and it's going to sell. No, you got to be quite strategic right now as a seller to get it sold. What is going on, Alex? Happy belated Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with family or friends. And we had a great one. We really did. We had back-to-back Thanksgivings as we usually do with some local family here. And then my brother came in from Michigan with his family. And so we celebrated at my parents' house in Florence, Kentucky on Friday. That was back-to-back, just really lovely days. I think Thanksgiving is just it's such a good holiday. Like gratefulness, a holiday to celebrate gratefulness is so important. My understanding is that the holiday began by Abraham Lincoln, and it was in the Civil War. And it's like, we need to be grateful, even though this is maybe one of the darkest moments, if not the darkest moment in our nation's history. Let's pause, because we can always be grateful. We can always find joy and thankfulness for what we have. And I love Thanksgiving. I don't love it where more and more it seems the culture kind of skips from Halloween straight to Christmas. I'm like, no, Thanksgiving matters. And so we had a great one. Hope you did too, Alex. Appreciate that. I went up to Columbus to see family and celebrate the Buckeye victory. Now, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got to celebrate that. Was born in Michigan and I'm still a Wolverine fan. And so I'm still a fan of the team up north. We've had your number in the last few years. Before that, it was a decade of not so much fun, but glad the Buckeyes got the win for your sake. Not so for my sake, but yeah, it's always great to be with family. I don't know. Thanksgiving, it gets a lot of flack on social media of like how bad it's going to be with family, but I'm just, I don't know. I think I'm really grateful for my family. They're amazing. We did something a little bit different this year too, where we kind of went through different scriptures. Normally we go around the table and do, what are we most thankful for in the year? This year we got a little bit more intentional with it. And we kind of look back at like, hey, what are some of the challenges we faced in the year? Those aren't necessarily bad things. They were challenges and they were hard, but for us, we're a family of faith. So we're saying, how has God brought us through those challenges? How is he faithful? And then we had Thanksgiving of like, what can we be thankful for? All these things, we read a Psalm. So we read out of Deuteronomy, we read a Psalm. And then after the meal, after we all had our full bellies and our dessert, we gave that a little breathing time. But in a few hours later, we said, hey, let's gather around again. So we gathered all the grandkids and the parents and grandparents and said, we've been blessed. Look how God has been faithful. Look at all these great things that have happened this year that we're thankful for. Now, what can we do to give? And we read a passage out of 2 Corinthians, and shout out to Stephen Manuel and Abraham's Wallet, because I got this idea from him. They did it on their podcast, or a local podcast here, a good friend of mine. And the idea was, there's this passage out of Corinthians that says, God loves a cheerful giver. And so I brought that up to the family, like, hey, we've been blessed, but now, I told the kids, like, God didn't just bless us so we can be fat and happy and comfortable and watch football on Thanksgiving. God blessed us so that we can bless other people. And so we kind of went around the room and we're like, is there anything stirring that you want to give to this year? Or is there something that we as a family are uniquely designed to give to? And we actually didn't get a lot of answers right there, but it did seem to spark some ideas of like, what if we created a foundation? What if we had a donor advised fund as a family that we said like, hey, these are the charities. Maybe we go to Matthew 25 Ministries and serve there. And then at Thanksgiving time, we have somewhat of a board meeting and say, no, we're going to give to this and give to that. So it was fun. We hadn't done that as a family. And I really loved doing that this year. And they're my parents. It was awesome. Love your input on thankfulness. Yeah, it really was. It was a great day. I've been thinking about it ever since. And this is the time of year. Now we've kind of moved from Thanksgiving to Advent season. And, we spent time with my church thinking through the light has come into the world. The light has come in to shine in the darkness. And it's, if you have that mindset and if you have that belief, then, this is the time of year to think about, how do we give? Like, how do we create more light in the world? And that's a good thing to do. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for watching. Figured as such. It's a great rivalry. Yeah, I am a Wolverine fan. Go Blue. I don't watch them as much as I used to. 5 kids will cut down where you get to put your attention on your sports consumption. And so I miss that. I do love watching college sports, but I don't get to watch them as much as Mark and Barb Sztanyo out there. So I've kind of narrowed it down to the Reds and the Bengals as my primary sporting consumption and fandom. All right, let's jump back into here. So inventory rose 30% year over year. Nationally, the biggest discounts from initial list prices are being seen in the most expensive metros. That makes sense. So San Jose recorded 70,000, LA 61, San Fran 59, New York and San Diego both at 50,000 discount. And that's, where there's more equity, where there's more housing costs, that go, kind of goes without saying that they're probably, if they're going to pull back, going to have a larger discount there. Cincinnati is a more affordable market. And so $20,000 on average is a significant discount. I might try to pull up the stats next week and show a little bit more of what happened here in November, so we can look at that. So yet in the markets with less expensive homes, smaller cuts can still represent a big discount for buyers. Cincinnati. Homes in Pittsburgh and New Orleans are generally discounted by 9% of the city's home value. There are also cities that haven't changed much on pricing. Oklahoma City and Louisville recorded a 15,000 price cut, and St. Louis saw 15. So it's kind of happening nationwide. And again, here in Cincy, this is somewhat what happens seasonally. So I really think it's a combination of both. It's a little bit of seasonal. We always see the prices peak, in terms of closed sales prices in usually June, July. And then August might be slightly under July as kids are going back to school. And then the prices kind of notch down each month until February, and they start creeping back up. So we're kind of in that spot right now where it's the low point of the year from the median or the average sales price. But I think it's the other combination is that inventory is up 30% over year. And so, buyers are a little bit pickier right now. They're looking for those discounts right now. And rightfully so. Like, I'm telling my buyers, like, okay, let's see what we can get. It doesn't mean you're going to get an enormous discount, but could we get 20? And that might be like they've already dropped the price to get that. So maybe they'll give you 10 if you make an offer 20 below or something like that. But that's what we do. We're going to coach you guys through that. So if you want help, if you're thinking through buying, whether it's now or whether you're waiting until the spring or the first of the year, we understand. Like, that's why I spend all this time looking at these markets and understanding the seasonality. So I have a really good finger on the pulse of the market of what's going on, and not only the market as a whole, but what's happening in each individual situation. So I can kind of, and my team can help you go, yeah, I think we can press on here, or no, if you push too much, I don't think we're going to get it. Or, hey, there's other competition. If you really want this home, then we got to bump it up. So that's the things we're going to coach you through for sure. Go green, go white. So those are my Spartan parents. One of the best things, I don't know if it's mom or dad watching or both, but one of the things I love about my parents is they are flag flyers, and but not only flag flyers, they are fair weather flag flyers. And so my dad, if you ever seen this, every neighborhood's probably got one of these guys, but my dad's got a flag for the Bengals, for the Reds, for the Spartans, for the Wolverines, for UK, for University of Kentucky, for, I don't know, maybe I'm missing some. And, if they're playing, the flag is flying. If they lose, he'll put it down to half mast, which it just warms my heart. Dad, I love you. I think it's awesome. Okay, so let's move on here. And then I don't have as much time tonight, but I want to hit a few other headlines. Inman Custom Homes launches sale for luxury East End development. So Terry Inman Custom Homes opened sales for Strader Garden development. The model home list for $948,000 with spring 2026 completion. 6 additional lots start at $928,000 with customizable features. Let's see. So here's the map on where this is. Kind of over in the east side, Columbia Tusculum area. see if I can show this in the larger map here, is where these lots are going in. This is a really cool area, by the way. You've got Taglio. This is actually right by my office. Where are we? Right here, literally right down the street. So I walk this road almost every day on Walworth Avenue. We just moved from this, but this was where our office was, right across from Precinct by Jeff Ruby. So right across the street here, this cool area right down by the river. You've got a few restaurants down here in the East End. And where are they? Where am I looking for? The barbecue place, Eli's Barbecue. Where is it? Right here. So this is right by Eli's Barbecue. Oh my gosh. This will actually be really hard. I'm not going to lie. I bet these are beautiful homes going in, but you're going to be smelling barbecue all the time. And you're going to be, that's going to be super tempting. I didn't realize that they were that close. And then you also got Taglio right here in Bendino. These are a few places I love, as well as the Precinct by Jeff Ruby. So this is, I'm not going to lie, this is a pretty sweet spot in terms of Cincinnati culinary. So if you want to walk to some of the best restaurants in town, Eli's, Taglio, and Jeff Ruby's Precinct aren't too bad. So those are cool. Be on the lookout for those. Here's kind of what those houses are going to look like. If you're interested in those custom homes, give me a shout. We'd love to help you out. Give you that representation on the buyer side. So you're working with the builder, but you're, all the time the builder is going to pay for our commission. So it doesn't cost you anything. Then you get the representation on the buyer side as well. So cool to see these homes going in. Walworth Junction is right there. And a lot of the homes look very similar to this style. And that was where Homerama was a few years ago. So looks like another row going in, and right over there by Eli's Barbecue. All right. So another one. Luxury development with $1.2 million homes underway in fast-growing greater Cincinnati County. So Trailside Estates breaks ground in Miami Township with 24 lots. Home prices are starting at $1.2 million across 24 acres, and 4 builders are going to be constructing homes completing by early 2027. So this is off Ward's Corner near Interstate 275, 24-acre lot. The project is being developed by Robert Lucky Group. This is a builder who's consistently in Homerama, which they're showing here, was in Homerama 2024. They do a great job, high-quality builds. Scott Lucky has worked on a slew of developments in Greater Cincy over the last decade, including a mixed-use development in Sycamore Township and a $17 million residential community in Mason. So the other builders are going to be Huber Homes, Chris Gorman Homes, and JNK Custom Homes. Each builder will have 5 lots. And Robert Lucky Homes will have 9 lots out here. I'll show you. Here are the, by the way, I don't know if I can get the full list here. Oh yeah, here are the 22 largest builders. So we'll get into this because I think this is, well, actually, let me go back real quick. I want to see, just show you guys on the map. They don't have a map on this one, but Ward's Corner and 275 there because they're kind of in the Loveland area. Right over there. And yeah, let's look at these builders now because that's going to bring us to our next story. But here are the 22 largest home builders by sales volume in Cincinnati. You got Fisher Homes and number 1 and Dries Homes number 2. We do a lot with our clients in terms of Fisher Homes and Dries Homes, and for good reason. They're the number 1 and number 2 builders by sales volume. So this is local revenue in 2024. And how many housing starts. So you can see Fisher nearly double Dries Homes in terms of starts, but in terms of sales volume, I guess they've got more coming. Fisher's got a lot more coming here than Dries did in 2024. By volume, they're a little bit closer, 459 to 355 Dries Homes. MI right behind them at 354. And then it drops off, but DR Horton is definitely growing. They're selling a lot. Seeing a lot of people finding value in DR Horton. In terms of, they usually will build their homes to spec and then sell them. And they've had some really crazy, strong discounts on their financing as well. So they're growing. They're number 4 now, which is impressive. Cristo Homes sold one of those in this last year. A little bit more up north have been coming down, 40 million. Ashley Builders. So now you're getting into some of the custom builders, right? Ashley, Ashford, Robert Lucky, Schmidt, John Henry Homes. It's closer more to like an MI home builder. Maybe that's not true. But they're in the area, kind of in that northwest side of Cincinnati, where I've seen a lot of MI homes. Camden, WP Land, Habitat for Humanity, Wheeland Builders, Red Knot Homes showed a beautiful Red Knot home out in Anderson Township at Anderson Reserves, right off of 4 Mile Road. And we were really close. My buyers loved it. But the more they kind of looked at that area, they thought they might be looking at somewhere potentially, we'll see, somewhere a little bit closer to work, but just a gorgeous home out there that Mark Pottebaum had built. And maybe I can, if you're interested in that one, let me know. I'm going to show you actually another one today. Cutter Construction Traditions, Andrew Arthur Fry, Bold, Legacy, and K Homes. So that's a look at the largest builders. But I bring that up to go through this headline as well, which is the Atlanta-based Pulte Group targeting Cincinnati as it deepens its Midwest presence. So Pulte is looking to expand into the Cincy market. Now, I'm not super familiar with them, but I know that they are one of the largest home builders in America. They're the nation's third largest home builder by volume, is looking to take up its stake in the Midwest region. So I'm going to be on the lookout for this. I'll definitely bring you more and more information. They're saying the Cincy and Dayton metros closely resemble several of our Midwest markets as it relates to desirability, economic development, and the growing demand of families and individuals looking to purchase new homes. So again, I've talked about this a lot on the channel, is that, where a lot of the development is going is kind of contracting the areas between Cincinnati and Dayton. So a lot of it on that north side of town, up north of Mason, north of Westchester, in that Middletown area, Lebanon, Monroe, Morrow, and making its way up towards Dayton. So sounds like Pulte is targeting there. D.R. Horton's been targeting there as well. Fisher Homes and Dries Homes are up there as well. So as they're looking for land, right? Where can we buy land that's not, because all the costs have gone up. Construction costs, home prices have obviously gone up, but a lot of that is because construction costs have gone up and land costs have gone up and development costs have gone up. And so be on the lookout for that. I'll certainly be keeping an eye on more headlines from Pulte as they're looking to break into the Cincinnati market here. But a lot of times what you'll see, and I'll certainly be bringing this to you guys, is, if you got someone who's trying to crack into some other stiff competition, like what we're seeing with D.R. Horton this year with their financing deals, is like you might see some aggressive sales, some aggressive discounts, some aggressive incentives to try to capture that market share as you're breaking into, a saturated market in terms of builders. So be on the lookout for that. I'll certainly be bringing that to you guys. Speaking of which, I got a text from one of my Fisher sales reps this week talking about Stony Brook, which is, by the way, hey, let me just show you guys this real quick. When I say, like, if you want representation with a builder, with Fisher Homes, who's the #1 home seller here, when you go on their website, you see this beautiful pop-up and it's like, hey, what's going on? Just be really careful, because even these pop-ups, the model homes, like if you fill out that info and you don't list Team Sztanyo as your real estate agent, Eric Sztanyo as your real estate agent, it's hard for us to come in later and give you that representation if they've already counted you in their system as the threshold meeting. So just a heads up on that. Be careful. Like if you want representation, which I always recommend because it doesn't cost you anything, and we're going to be able to help you throughout the build process or help you negotiate, all kinds of things, help you with inspections that, the builder can help you with. But remember, the sales associates for Fisher, for Dries, for MI, for D.R. Horton, for Pulte, they work for the builder. Okay. They don't work for you. They work for the builder. And if you hire us, if you in a buyer representation agreement, we work for you, but we're going to get paid by the builder. So we're looking out for your best interest. So I always try to bring that up when I'm talking new construction, because a lot of people don't know that. They maybe walk into a model home, they're like, I don't know. And then they get in the system, and then the builder's like, well, we captured that lead, not you, the agent. So I just think it's better. I think it's a better experience for buyers to have both the builder and an agent represent them. You're getting the best of both worlds. You want to be friendly. You're obviously going to be working with the builder, but it's nice to have an experienced agent on your side who can kind of help you navigate some of the waters that can get a little bit murky at times. But I'm bringing Stony Brook up because this message was, hey, we are releasing 5 new home sites in Stony Brook. They will be released in the next week through a VIP sign up. Do you have anybody that would be interested? Stony Brook is a masterpiece collection. So that's Fisher Homes' highest level of homes, single family homes, high 500,000 starting price, but it's in Liberty Township and it's Lakota schools. So this has been a very popular neighborhood already. And a big reason is because you can get these masterpiece homes, which are Fisher's highest level, their highest end homes. And these same homes might cost you like $1 million in Mason, but you're over in Liberty Township, you're in Lakota schools, and you're starting in the high 500s. So we've had some people very interested in this. They've had some hiccups in terms of the development, but they've got 5 new sites ready to go. So she said, look, these are going to go fast. They're going to go on a VIP like list, the way that's going to work here. And so if you have anyone interested, let us know. And I said, well, you know what? I'll share it with my YouTube live. I don't know anybody right now, but somebody out there in the world might watch this and be like, yeah, I've been looking for Liberty schools. I want to build a new home. I want it, ideally finished by the next school year, something like that. So if you're interested in that, I wanted to share that one because that was coming up to me. And I know that that's been a pretty hot neighborhood because of the price point, because of the access to the interstate, and because of those schools. So I wanted to mention that in case anyone was interested. If you are, give us a shout. Okay. Last thing I wanted to share here is this home that I went and saw in Affirmed today. So this is in Triple Crown. Let me show you guys where this one is at. This is 506 Affirmed in Union, Kentucky. This was such a beautiful home. I was like kind of blown away. So the aerial doesn't show that this is developed, but you got several houses in here right now. And this area right here is right off Interstate 71. Triple Crown is a master plan development that's been built out over 30 plus years now. A lot of homes in here, but this is such a unique spot right here because you've got super quick and easy access to the interstate. This is right off a golf hole. So you've got, golf course right here with a beautiful lake. So you've got some really nice views right here. This is right by the brand new Publix store that just went in, which I see is slammed all the time. I think people in Triple Crown are loving this and their pub subs. So you got perfect access to the interstate, the grocery store. You're within Triple Crown, and all these homes, or several of these, were right in a recent home show. Beautiful, beautiful homes. So I'll just show you this one really quick. This was 506 Affirmed Avenue. This is a 5-bedroom, 5 full bath, 1 half bath. So 6 full bath. There's a full finished basement. There's a loft. This was in the showcase home. This was a showcase home for the home show. Brand new 5,200 square feet, modern European inspired farmhouse by our Farmer House. That's the builder, our Farmer House. It's a rare opportunity in Triple Crown, designed to impress. And boy, did it. I'll show you the photos here in a minute. 5 bed is 5.5 bath, oversized bunk room, private theater, open beams, rich hardwood, spa-like primary suite, and luxurious touches. 3-car garage, designer finishes, and professionally landscaped backyard oasis. Set on an oversized acre lot in Union's premier golf community, just steps from the Publix and Triple Crown's top-tier amenities. This showcase home just took center stage at the showcase of homes in Triple Crown. So here's what it looked like. Show you guys this. Kind of walk you through it. And let's see, I'll blow that up here. Okay, there's the front, 3-car garage. And when you come in from the garage, you're coming in right here and walking into seeing the kitchen and this ceiling. Like I said, my buyer was just like, wow, wow. He said, wow. Like I said, I think I had a 5 or 6 on the wow counter as we were going through this. And it's hard. The photos do look really good, but being in it with the kitchen, which was just beautiful. This is a working kind of butler's pantry right off the kitchen. We can't see the top of the ceiling, but there's a beautiful wallpaper up there as well. It's just well done. See, you can't see it right here. That's the thing. Like the wide angle photo is not showing how beautiful this kind of A-frame ceiling here is, with the beams and this beautiful chandelier and the fireplace, the awesome tile work going all the way up. It doesn't do it justice. It does not do it justice. It just doesn't show you. This right here, the stonework, this was like a remarkable wall. I'm not going to lie. The quality here was really beautiful. For the dining room, here's the master bedroom. Here's the master bath. The tile work was really, really well done. I think I'm going to have to wrap this up here. I'm getting a call. So beautiful, beautiful home. If you guys are interested in that, give me a shout. I wanted to show real quick here. Here's bedrooms on the first floor. They had Jack and Jill bathrooms, laundry room, office. This was on the second floor, this bunk room. And then you had a finished basement downstairs with another bedroom. So really cool home. All right, guys, I actually have to wrap it up. I've got another meeting I've got to pop into. So appreciate you guys. Houday, let's get that win against the Bills, and we'll see you guys in the next one.